If you live in Florida, you know that your air conditioner isn't just some appliance. Nope, it's basically the silent, unsung hero of your home, right? It's out there fighting a battle for you, day in and day out, just to keep you comfortable. But have you ever really thought about what that fight actually looks like?
I mean, we've all been there. It feels like 1 minute everything's fine, and the next your house is turning into a swamp and you're just staring at the thermostat willing it to work. It seriously feels like a constant uphill battle. So what is it about Florida that makes it so tough?
Okay, so here's the deal. It's not just the heat. That's part of it, for sure, but it's so much more. Your AC unit is literally fighting a war on multiple fronts, every single day. And understanding who the enemy is, well, that's the first step to winning.
So, let's meet the bad guys in this story. We're going to break down the three main villains that are waging a relentless war on your home's cooling system.
All right, villain number one is the obvious one, the brutal heat and that swamp-like humidity. I mean, we're talking summer temps hitting 92 degrees with humidity pushing 75%. Your system has to run almost constantly just to keep up. And that constant runtime, it puts an unbelievable amount of wear and tear on every single part, seriously fast-tracking its journey to failure.
Villain number two is a little sneakier. It's that humid, salt-filled air that we have everywhere. That salt is literally corrosive, and it just eats away at the copper refrigerant lines in your outdoor unit. And then, bam, you get those surprise attacks, our classic afternoon thunderstorms. They can cause these massive power surges that just fry the sensitive electronics inside your AC in a split second.
And now for an enemy that might have been hiding in your home from day one. A lot of new homes, especially in big developments, come with what we call a builder-grade HVAC system. And look, it's designed for one thing, to be cheap for the builder, not to last for you. So while you might think you're getting 15, maybe 20 years out of a system, these guys often tap out in just 8 to 10. It's a tough break.
So we've met the villains. Now let's take a look at the battlefield. What does the aftermath of this constant war actually look like? These are the real-world problems that will leave you sweating it out.
Oh, this is a super common one, a failed capacitor. Just think of a capacitor as the thing that gives your system's motors that initial jolt to get going, kind of like a battery for a big engine. Well, Florida's insane heat basically bakes these things over time, causing them to break down way faster than they would anywhere else.
So how do you know if your capacitor is dying? Well, your AC will give you some pretty clear clues. You might hear this weird humming or buzzing sound coming from the outdoor unit. Or you'll notice it really struggles to kick on, or maybe it starts and stops randomly. If you see that, you've probably got a capacitor on its last legs.
Next up, a problem that is 100% born from our humidity, the clogged condensate drain. So your AC is constantly pulling moisture out of the air, and that water has to drain away. But that drain line? It's warm, it's dark, it's wet. It's basically a perfect breeding ground for algae and mold, which eventually creates this disgusting blockage.
And the result of that clog is, well, it's a homeowner's absolute nightmare. That water has nowhere to go, so it backs up into your house. It can overflow and cause thousands and thousands of dollars in damage to your ceilings, your walls, your floors. It's a disaster.
And finally, let's talk about refrigerant leaks. Remember that salty, corrosive air we talked about? Well, it literally pokes these teeny tiny holes in the copper lines, and the refrigerant, which is basically the lifeblood of your cooling system, just slowly leaks out. Your AC will keep running, but the air coming out of your vents just won't be cold.
Okay, enough with the problems. Let's pivot and talk about the playbook. Let's talk solutions. Because when your system finally goes down, you're going to face a really big and often really expensive question.
This is the big one, right? The ultimate dilemma. Do you sink a bunch of money into repairing an old system, or do you just bite the bullet and invest in a brand new one? It's a huge decision, but thankfully there's a pretty neat tool that can help you figure it out.
It's called the $5,000 rule. It's just a really simple, practical guideline to help you make a smart choice, and honestly, to keep you from throwing good money after bad on a dying system.
Here's how easy it is. First, figure out how old your system is in years. Then, get a firm quote for how much the repair is going to cost. Now, just multiply those two numbers, the age times the repair cost. If that final number is over $5,000, that's a really strong sign that you're better off putting your money towards a full replacement.
Okay, so whether you decide to repair or replace, you're going to need a professional. But listen, not all service is the same. Let's talk about what separates the real pros from the guessers.
This is so important. An amateur might just eyeball your house and size a new system based on a rough square footage guess. But
Florida Building Code legally requires a super detailed calculation called a Manual J. This thing looks at everything, your insulation, your windows, which direction your house faces. It makes sure the system is perfectly matched to your home. The wrong size system is a disaster. It wastes energy and it will fail years before it should.
So how can you be proactive and get on the offensive in this war? Let's wrap this up with a few simple, smart rules to help you protect your system.
First things first, get your system professionally serviced twice a year. Not once, twice. Once in the spring, before summer hits, and again in the fall. Here in Florida, with how hard these things work, this is absolutely essential to catch small issues before they turn into big, expensive emergencies.
Next up is the 3-minute rule. Your AC needs at least 3 minutes of rest between cycles, so the pressure inside can balance out. If you're constantly turning it on and off, you're putting a ton of strain on the compressor, and that's the most expensive part of the whole system. The good news is most modern thermostats do this for you, so just let it do its thing.
And look, if you need any more proof about why this is all so important, just look at the average lifespan. In a normal climate, a good system can last 15 to 20 years. Down here in Florida, that drops to maybe 12 to 15 years tops. It's all because of that relentless wear and tear. Being proactive isn't just a good idea, it's a flat-out necessity.
You know, it really all boils down to this one simple truth. When your AC breaks in the middle of a Florida July, it isn't just some minor inconvenience. No way. It's a genuine emergency. The stakes are just incredibly high.
So let's end right where we started. We said your AC is the hero of your home, fighting for you every single day. So the real question you have to ask yourself is this: are you giving that hero the support it actually needs to keep winning the war?